It's kind of breezy here, guys. The wind is really showing my receding hairline here. But it's trying to rain. Well, it's been raining all morning. Just this soft, big drops, but kind of scattered. But soybean fertility. This ground is the strip-tilled ground, so our P and K is underneath. And so on this field, all I did was apply a gypsum, just a sulfur. On the no-till planted stuff, I broadcast out the P and the K just for soil maintenance, and the AMS because we are starting to see early signs of a positive response to AMS or sulfur. 15 years ago when fungicides came out for soybeans, it was, well, we did it, and then this field it kind of worked, that field it didn't. This year it worked, this year it didn't, and that's how the sulfur is right now. Some years, some fields show a 10 bushel response. Other years, other fields show no response. So it's kind of hit and miss, but in 10 years from now, I will just, well, I mean, for me personally, I'm already just some AMS across all soybean acres. Just because of the potential that's there, and sulfur can't hurt being applied. Yep, it's an extra 20 bucks an acre, so it's a 2 bushel response. So you almost have a tie in yield to pay for. Are you going to notice the difference between 42 and 44 bushel? Unless you're extremely accurate, like I try to be on my yield recording with the combine and the scale of the grain buggy, and then getting the tickets from the cities. Yes, we can find that 2 bushel, but there are so many people around here that don't use yield monitoring. They don't use scales. They are still using the number on the side of the wagon. So to them, I don't know. But for me, I'm tracking everything. I can start to see a trend of a positive ROI on AMS with soybeans. So that is my soybean. I tried to have some fun videos with it. It just wasn't working out. I was fenced in the morning and then trying to broadcast for soybeans, and I we had another rain day, so I ended up making a trip down to southern Minnesota. Had a lot of great video there, and then I just didn't like how it all came together. So yeah, that's why you didn't get a soybean video, is I just didn't like how it came together. I'm sorry. But yeah, so that is the soybean fertility program. Is just some maintenance P and K and our newly growing sulfur program. The fun part about soybeans is they're not very responsive to fertility, and people call soybeans lazy if you apply nitrogen, and I will beg to differ that. 2016, I did a strip till test with soybeans, so I had no-till soybeans with a soybean fertility program, and then strip till soybeans with a soybean fertility program, and then I had strip till soybeans with a corn fertility. So I had 200 pounds of urea along with the 100 pounds of P and K underneath that, plus there was 50 pounds of AMS. Now them beans were weeks ahead of growth. I mean, they were, when the neighbors beans, or when I won't use the neighbors, when the no-till beans or all the other beans just started setting pods, the corn fertilizer beans, they were massive. They already had 20-30 pods on them for the other, come harvest time, clearly that thing out yielded the others. So if I just wanted to go to the coffee shop and talk about yield, yep, that was the one you talk about. Oh yeah, it's 10 bushel above the rest of the farm. But the 10 bushels did not pay for the applied product. The best return on the money was the no-till, non-fertilized soybeans. Now granted, you got to keep in mind that, okay, if you're not going to fertilize, you are going to mine the soil some. So then we come over to the no-till or the strip-tilled beans that had the soybean fertilizer on it. Then the strip-tilled with the soybean was the most economic, or the best return on investment, because we got by, we had the same crop, we maintained soil, but we used less product. So they were the best ROI on that. I kind of like doing some of these soybean tests in a way. In a way I don't, because soybeans don't have a massive swing in yield. Yeah, kind of boring. On corn, if you did a 0 applied nitrogen and a 200% applied nitrogen, you'd see a massive swing across there. On corn, if you just took an acre and you poured a ton of P and K, a literal ton of P and K on that field, one, you'd probably salt it out. I have no idea, but if you just did 10 times the recommended rate of P and K and threw a couple hundred, a 2 to 3 time rate of nitrogen, which I do not encourage, because that's how we get nitrates and our waterways polluted and in our groundwater and stuff. But if you did that, the corn would show a definite response. May not be an economic response, but you would see a definite response versus your normal program. Soybeans, it's kind of boring in a way that they really don't always respond that way. There's some years you're just like, oh my God, I put 50 pounds or 100 pounds of AMS on that field, and I missed a spot, or the spreader ran out a little extra or whatever, and the spot that didn't get treated was 10 bushel less. And then other years you're just like, I tried everything, including the kitchen sink. I foliar fed multiple times. I did the fungicide, the insecticide. I did all this fertility crap, and it was the exact same yield as my check strip where I just drove with the planter, and that was the year. So beans are kind of an interesting creature. But guys, all right, I'm getting out of the rain. Thank you very much for watching.